Do you actually get this stuff for free?
No, I pay. I order it.
They used to give it for free, didn't they?
Yeah, I order it.
And they did well.
Yeah, I order it.
Where do you want us to go? Am I going to take Jamie's seat?
You're moving again.
Well, it
Look
looks
at
like
you.
it.
Yo,
Looks
Jill.
like it.
Do you know what? You're a
Oh
good
my
squad
God.
player. You know what I mean?
You know what I did yesterday? I need to tell you this quickly, right? So, got doing this challenge thing where it was like the men's rowing 8, you know, when there's like 8 in a boat type thing.
Yeah.
Like, Jill, we're going to put you in the boat with them and you can practice like rowing just to see how quick this boat goes.
Yeah.
So I got put in like the cox bit, you know, where you have to be
Yeah,
about
the front,
5 foot.
shouting the orders.
Oh my God, this boat went so quick. Imagine 8 men like this rowing. So then they go, right, Jill, you're going to jump in and row. But it's not
Right,
just like rowing, you have to like twist at the right time, it's going quick. I snapped the boat.
you're
The boat's worth 90 grand.
How do you snap the ball?
Because if you hit the water at the wrong point, it's called a crab ejection and you can go flying out of the boat.
Sound right, does it?
Sounds really quite rude.
The guy went, you've caught crabs, and I was like, what? Like, I only sat next to you, but I snapped the whole carbon fibre.
Well, what were you doing that for, Jill? What were you What was
It was just to like kind of appreciate rowing, but oh my God, I actually did. These guys are so like disciplined, like the training they do. They go on, you know, the skier thing.
The Olympic guys? Is it
Olympic guys, yeah,
Oh,
the
right,
ones that are going in the thing, but I was rowing with them. It made us appreciate rowing so much. I was like, oh my God.
I'm loving you.
God.
I'm loving your look, gal.
It's the shacket.
It's the shacket, innit?
It's the shacket.
Represent.
Yeah.
You're going
like
to be
it.
sweating.
Is that-
It's like...
What do you need?
It's like 30 degrees outside. You've all got your winter clothes on.
I'm sweating like
Jill,
mad
don't
here.
thingy, man. Don't spoil
Right,
Yeah, you're a fellow ambassador for...
it. Yeah.
we've got a faller this morning. Jamie Carragher has missed his train. He slept through his alarm.
Wow.
How can you sleep through an alarm?
Wow.
I've
That's
never slept
so
through an alarm in my life.
Me neither.
Have you?
No, I would never sleep.
No.
Yeah, I would never sleep for an alarm.
And I've never known him do it, to be fair.
Do you think he was
So
drinking?
he's not turning up?
He's going to be arriving late.
What did Jill say?
Was he drinking?
What Jill said? Do you think he's
He's in
I think he's had enough, huh?
He's in the yellow wall.
No, that is very unprofessional of him, isn't it?
I know.
Like, I like to
I
laugh.
was surprised, to be honest with you. I was surprised. It shocked me when they told me.
Do you think he'll be gutted? Because if I knew I was going to miss this, I'd be getting like really
No, I don't know.
nervous.
I think
If you're gutted, you don't miss it.
I don't think he'll be comfortable walking in.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is
we
he
won't
still
make him
coming?
comfortable.
He's still coming, yeah.
Gal, I saw your thing. Hawes and Curtis, your little modelling thing. You look good, gal. I said in the green room, you know what, I'm not even joking. You look good. I love them shoes, what you had, them brown suede shoes look really cool. But you had this really awkward smile.
Yeah,
like,
it's out of my comfort zone, isn't it?
yeah, but you got to own the gear.
I get that, but
It was out of his-
Why were you doing it, Bob?
I met
He's a model now.
So I met Tuka Sullivan on Dragon's Den, and he owns the clothes brand, Hawes and Curtis, and he said to me, "I'd like you to do some stuff."
Wow.
So I said, "Yeah, okay."
You look good in the gear,
He's a
though,
good
gal.
guy. He's a
Yeah,
nice.
it was
He took me
nice.
out of my comfort zone.
Is he a great guy? Yeah.
It was nice.
But gal, the clothes were real top quality.
Yeah,
though,
no, they're
weren't
good. Very
Did
good.
you like the linen shirt?
You know, I liked.
That was the only one.
I like that
No.
one, though.
there
Did
was-
you?
Wear it.
I would. You know what I liked?
I'll
there
get you
was
some Wrighty. I'll get you some
No,
Wrighty.
it's cool. It's cool.
You might as well get
You know
me.
what it is,
Do you
gal?
have a women's collection?
Did I?
Yeah, they do.
You
yeah.
had a nice, kind of like a Miami-looking top, like something you'd wear in Miami.
Yeah.
Beautiful
They're
look.
like overshirt things.
You should have worn those with the brown suede shoes. That would have looked really cool.
Palace have got all the answers then.
Right.
That's not they've got all the answers, but
Do you know why
they've got
they're doing well,
structure.
Palace?
They've got structure
Do
and
you know
they've got
why?
good players.
They've got two of
They've
the
got
best.
good players who
They've got
know
two
what
of the
they're
best
doing.
players playing. Palace are 14th in the league, so don't get all excited about Crystal Palace.
No.
I've come to the conclusion Southgate can't happen.
Why not?
It can't happen.
If the players aren't having them,
Well, that's
it's
the
not
big
going to
decision.
work, is it?
Why weren't the players up for it last week? I'm amazed with
sorry.
players. We'll be up for next week. Forget last week, by the way. Idiots.
Oh my God, are you rough?
Let's get some whiskey for him. Let's sort him out.
My frustration was with the players around him. Help him out.
Roy probably just. The cats are amazing. I love them. Have you seen Cat's Eyes?
Yeah, I'm not anti-cats.
This man-to-man marking system 10 out does is killing Casemiro.
I think that's the most important 5-10 minutes that we've ever done on Stick to Football. We've got a very serious start this morning.
Go on.
Our partner SkyBet have sponsored the British Heart Foundation for a campaign, £3 million to try and get 3 lots of Wembley, so 270,000 people trained in CPR. And Tom Lockyer from Luton is a ambassador for the campaign, and he's joining us. He's there. Tom, fucking hell, you come. Fucking hell. Tom, what are you doing there?
Waiting for you to finish talking about your new
In you
suit.
come.
Tom Lockyer.
Gee, I'm thinking you're out there somewhere.
Hi, Tom.
Hi.
I've actually always wanted to meet Tom.
Tom, how are you?
Tom, such a pleasure, my friend. How you feeling, Tommy? Younger
Yeah.
form?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Look
Yeah.
well.
No, I'm feeling well. Feeling a lot better now. So, yeah.
Just take us back, Tom. Obviously the playoff final. Was there anything? What was the sort of your feeling after that related to sort of what happened then? Obviously later against Bournemouth. Was that the first time that something had ever happened to you at that point?
Yeah, literally, and it was out of the blue as well. I mean, looking back in hindsight, I've racked my brains over, was I too excited? Was the heat? Was it? I'm looking for all these, what did I do differently? Different pre-match, anything like that? Did I have more caffeine? I'm looking for all these things, nothing. Like, I've got nothing to say, oh, that's what caused it. And before that, I've never had anything like that in my life, ever.
Yeah.
So it was like, I'm like, why? Like, and I was sat there for ages, like, why me? You know, don't like doing it, but like a little bit of self-pity. You know, I've just had the best season of my career, and you know, and now I've got a chance to play in the Premier League, and this could be taken away from me. So I've got all these thoughts going on in my head. So it was a hard time, and then 6 months later, Bournemouth, and then that just becomes even harder then as well.
But what about from your family's point of view? Were they a bit scared for you going back, or were they worrying?
No, the first time, no. My mum was probably the only one who had a few concerns over anything.
Yeah.
As mums do. But then the second time, it has been a lot harder on them.
Yeah.
It's probably the first time I've really took their thoughts into consideration in terms of, you know what it's like as a footballer, you're really selfish, aren't you?
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, whatever's best for you and your career, and, you know, you pack up and leave, this is where we're going, it's going to be best for my football. So, yeah, it's probably the first time where I've really thought that, what their opinions think. And, you know, my missus, she said, I'll never watch you play game of football again, which was obviously quite hard. And I'm hoping, you know, as time goes on, she might get a little bit easier with that, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Where are you at now, Tom, in terms of obviously from a health perspective, but also from a point of view of just you said you didn't have any doubts after the first one, but you must be obviously in a different position now from a sort of point of view of mentally.
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, for a while, I was questioning everything again. You know, I was getting into the dark space mentally just because I was putting on a brave face during the day, and then when I was left alone, when the missus would go to bed, I was left alone at night, just with me and my thoughts then, and then Google, and then you know, it wasn't very, very pretty at times. But then I was like, why am I even wasting my energy on this? It's nothing I can control. So let's try and turn it into something positive. And then I spoke to Ollie and said, how do we turn this into something positive? Work with British Heart Foundation, try and raise awareness on the benefits of CPR and defibrillators. And that was kind of like turned me into, you know, negative thoughts into positive thoughts. But I think moving forward now, obviously it's been well documented. I've got the defib, same as Ericsson. I actually feel safer now than I ever have before. Because if something like this was to happen again, that would kick in before anyone would need to do anything to me.
Have you been on the grass? Do you play? Have you trained? Or you're not training or anything?
No, not at the minute. I mean, the process is a long one. You know, it's not like pulling your hamstring where every physio and doctor knows how to rehab you and get you back to football. It's more of a complex one. The specialists are taking their time with it because obviously it's happened. Well, something has happened twice now. So. Yeah, and then like obviously the mental side as well. I always think now as well. Obviously I've got this, but if they're going to allow me back on the pitch now, there's going to be absolutely no doubt that I'm safe because no one wants to see what happened again. So if I am allowed back on the pitch, I'm assuming that, you know, they have absolutely no doubt over me, and if there was a doubt, I probably wouldn't be trying to do it anyway.
So that means if they do say you're going to go straight back in for like how you do again.
Full throttle again.
Is it right that you just became a dad this year?
Yeah.
Has that changed your perspective on things? Is it like there's things bigger than football?
Yeah, of course there's things bigger than football. Not a lot of things are bigger than football, but there is a few things, and you know, I like just holding her like that and just looking at her like, wow, you're incredible. And it does almost think, you know, but it's like what I said, I don't feel at risk in any sort of way.
Yeah.
And if I was to go back to football, I don't feel like I would be risking anything like that happening again.
Yeah.
So it doesn't affect me in that way too much. But obviously, when I do see her, I'm like, yeah, it's amazing. It's incredible feeling, isn't it?
What's the sort of path now? What is the advice that you're being given at this moment in time? Obviously, you were a coach last Friday. We spoke to you before the game, the Luton Everton game, and you obviously moved into the dugout. But what is the path moving forward for you?
So I spoke to Christian, and he put me in touch with his cardiologist, who's done a lot of work, and he's done a lot of. Obviously, he's done Daley Blind and Christian Eriksen, the well-known ones, but he's done a lot of work with other people, footballers well-known. But because it's maybe happened in training or away from any sort of sport, it's not spoken about and people don't know about it. So it's a lot more common than you actually think, and he's got a good track record of getting people back. He's happy to accept me on his programme after the initial tests, and he runs like a bit of like a 5-stage programme to back to the football field. But the first 2 stages are life rehab. So it's like, can you chase your kids around the park? Can you run for the bus? Right. So it's important for me now more than ever, you know, can you chase your kids around the park to get these first 2 stages done and see where I'm at. But he said at any stage along this process, he could say, look, this test has come back, this result has said this, and you're going to have to stop it. And
are you being monitored all the time now then?
Yeah.
Like on a hour by hour basis, basically?
Yeah, and especially when I'd be doing exercise, they would be looking for things, and then there's blood tests, heart scans and stuff like that all the time. So yeah, like I said, I feel safer now more than ever. I've got more eyes on me than I've ever had. Yeah. I've got these devices that can kick in when I need to. Obviously, I'd rather not have them, but the reality is I'm here now. So,
if you didn't go back playing and you focus on the coaching, would that still be a challenge or a test for you, like physically? Because we've seen a lot of coaches and managers go through stresses, different type of stresses. Obviously, it's not running up on the pitch and hitting people, but just, would that be okay? Is that?
Yeah,
I know. Stress.
Have you not?
I know, because when I watch games, when I'm like not involved and I watch games, I feel it more than when I'm out there and I can affect the game. So yeah, I don't know. I see the stress and the pressures that managers go through, and it's not nice, is it? Do you know what I mean? So it's probably not something I would look to do. But yeah, I don't know. I think it would be a lot of stress, but no one said anything at this minute.
Obviously, last time I saw you was only a week ago. You were at the Luton Everton game. You came over and talked to us, and at the end of that match, when the final whistle went, there was almost like a disbelief in the stadium. I think 2 things. One, that they didn't know the final whistle had gone, and it was Luton were sort of trying to get that goal. You were trying to get that goal at that end. But then there was also, I think, a lot of fans just stood there at the end, realising that, felt a little bit like a moment that we needed to win tonight. And I think Rob Edwards was like that a little bit in the interview afterwards, knowing that obviously Nottingham Forest were playing Sheffield United on the Saturday. How has the atmosphere been this week? Is it still positive, or is there a sort of acceptance or a feeling that it might just be slipping away from us now?
No, it was a weird one, that thing. No one really heard the whistle go, and we had one off the line. The overhead kick almost went in. Yeah. That would have cut, the roof would have come off, wouldn't it? Yeah, but it's a difficult one because, you know, it's like now or never, isn't it? You know, and it's almost out of our hands now as well, because if Forest, you know, win the next 2 games, there's nothing we can do. But I always said this season was going to be incredibly tough, whatever happened. Let alone you have 13 injuries, 8 of them were probably starters if they were fit. So to even be in this position, I think it is a massive credit to the whole football club and the lads who have slogged it out week in, week out. Because, I mean, Gary asked me the question on the night. He was like, what can you do differently? And when you've got no players, you know, there's not a lot different you can do. So, yeah, full credit to the lads who, and I think if you'd asked any fans start the season, if we'd been in this position with 2 games to go, they'd have probably took it. So
it's been a great effort.
It has been,
it
you know,
has.
especially, you know, I'm not disrespecting Sheffield United. When you look at their effort to Luton's and Luton's resources, it's been amazing. You know what I mean? But I do remember watching the Everton game, and your manager, he's so cool and he's so positive. But you could see there was a look on his face.
Yeah. It was like a resignation.
It really
almost.
felt like that, and you like it's not over.
No,
it's not. You can't.
He's managed to still look great, hasn't he? Well, even though managing, because a lot of managers go a bit downhill, don't they, when they manage?
Like
looks wise.
What,
looking at Roy and he's saying,
No, but he looks great.
He looks good. He's still gorgeous.
He does look great, yeah.
Tom's aged about 3 years in the last week. He's only coached 1 game.
I love his there seems to be a rawness and a raw emotion about
Yeah.
with Luton and the manager that you can see is connected to the fans. You can feel that this is why it's probably. I want them to see if they can do it. The journey's been amazing.
Yeah.
Some of those players have played back in the third, all the way to the Premier League.
Yeah.
The journey what Luton's been on, and not just the players, but the owners, the people that probably had to invest in the place to try and keep them going.
Yeah.
And now they're here and they're maybe a win away, depending on what Forest do.
What have you found out the most watching close? But Luton coming up again, obviously they were up against it. Was it the quality, the physicality, the speed? Obviously your injury problems.
The ruthlessness of it.
Yeah, probably the ruthlessness is like.
Because you did concede 1 or 2 late goals where you look back and you go, there were big moments even to get to get draws maybe at home. Was it Arsenal and Liverpool? And big moments, weren't there?
Some good games.
We've left a lot of points out there in certain moments, and it's when you're on top, if you don't score, then you can get punished straight away. Like we played Wolves the other day, we had a great chance to go and score. I think the flag went up, and then straight down the other end, and you're 1-0 down. And maybe in the Championship that doesn't happen, but in the Premier League you just seem to get punished. And I think it took a while for us to adapt as well. When we first came up, the first, 5-10 games, we were almost like in awe of wow, this is the Premier League. Yeah. This is everyone's dream. Because, it's probably Ross Barkley and Marvellous Nakamba, the only 2 players who'd played in the Premier League before, or Andros when he joined, So apart from that, everyone was like, wow, this is amazing. And we almost, gave
starstruck a little bit. You think at the
little
start,
bit,
maybe,
yeah. Maybe too much respect to all the teams. And it took, I think the gaffer came in, we were due to play Arsenal, and he came in and we were at home. He said, lads, we're expected to lose. What do you want to do? We've been sitting back and we've been losing anyway, trying to low block, cover the spaces. We've been losing anyway, so do you just want to go for it and give the fans something to cheer about? And if we lose,
good point,
they're going to be right.
You're going down
behind
fighting, aren't you?
Exactly.
You're having a go.
So since that, we gave Arsenal a great game.
Absolutely.
Rice scored a great header at the end, but it was a 4-3 thriller, wasn't it? And the fans were just with us from then, so there was no going back from there.
It's so much more exciting, them games, though, as a player, rather than just sitting, shuffle left, shuffle right.
Because the teams that come up, you can do all that sitting in and getting well beaten anyway.
Yeah.
You've shown it.
But then I think then, obviously, the way we want to play as well, the high intensity you need to go and press these teams, because it's not like pressing Championship teams where you do a press, he'll pass it, you do a press there. 3 presses, you normally get the ball back. In this league, they're all so comfortable on the ball, so you need to keep going. Yeah. And then when you're asking these players to go week in, week out, doing the same thing, and you've not got no more reinforcements coming in to come and help, that's when I think, because if you go press in this league and, you're 3-4 yards off it, you're not getting the ball, are you?
Yeah, you're finished.
I wish you'd have been more starstruck against Sunderland in the playoffs. You were brilliant that day, by the way, but
that was
still good.
So, Tom, going back to obviously that day against Bournemouth, the people who responded to you, you've spoken about them, about how obviously they saved your life and the amazing job that they did. And it's actually happened a couple of times in my life where people have collapsed in front of me and I've been like a rabbit in headlights and I've not known what to do. So this campaign that you're sort of heading up with the British Heart Foundation, we've got obviously one of the nurses in today, and we absolutely urge you to watch the next 5-10 minutes, because this could save someone's life close to you or someone that you may be passing the street. And it has happened to me. I don't know if it's happened to anybody else around this table, but you could be called into a position where you have to, obviously provide CPR to someone and save their lives. So we're going to give you a demonstration of what that looks like now to everyone who's watching Stick to Football. And I don't know if you want to say a few words, Tom, about what happened on that day, about the people who obviously came onto the pitch and saved your life.
No, and you said it might save someone's life. It will save someone's life. Someone watching this will be affected, maybe in a year's time, maybe 10 years' time, and they'll be called into action. And what we can't teach you is the bravery to step up and act, because a lot of people do freeze in this situation, but almost feel as if you know what you're doing in this situation, you're more likely to then step up and act and then become someone's hero. The paramedics who saved my life, I was thanking them, couldn't stop saying thank you when I seen them, and they were just like, at the end of the day, we were doing our job, and they knew what to do, so they were able to act in that situation. But I spoke to the boys who were there as well, my good mate Carlton Morris. He said, I seen what was happening, and I knew what was happening because of the first time, but he said, I just froze. I couldn't move. I didn't know what to do. And I almost feel if, obviously there's people there at that time, but if it was just me and him, if he knew what to do, he'd be a bit more likely to, you know,
Yes.
all right, come on, you know what you're doing here. Let's get it done.
Well, we've got an amazing member of staff from the British Heart Foundation, Estelle.
Come in, Estelle.
Yes, please come in, Estelle, if you can.
Hello, you okay? You're
Hi,
right.
okay.
Nice to meet you. You're all right. All right, yeah.
So, Estelle, take it away and tell us and show us exactly what we need to do.
Right, so all you need to learn CPR is a cushion and your smartphone. You don't need your smartphone right now, but I will show you the steps to learn CPR. So get your cushion on the floor. You're going to kneel over if you can, if you feel comfortable. And we're going to pretend this cushion is our patient. So we found somebody who is unresponsive and not breathing. We've called 999, that's the first thing. So the ambulance is on its way. Then we're going to start CPR. So you're going to place your hands like this. So clasp your hands. You're going to have nice straight arms. Lean over. Pretend this cushion, so this is the center of the chest, so right between the nipples. You're going to get like that. And then you're going to push down. So it's around 5 to 6 centimeters depth. So a really hard push, harder than you would think. Wow. Keep your arms nice and straight, shoulders directly above, and then you push like that. To the beat of Staying Alive, if somebody wants to sing that.
One chill.
Is that
That's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
How many do you have to
6,
do?
7, 8, 9, 10. You keep going until help arrives. So when the ambulance arrives, the paramedics will tell you either to keep going or they'll take over. But if they see good CPR happening, they'll let you keep going while they unpack their equipment.
Should your strongest hand be on the bottom?
Yes, so whatever you're most comfortable with, but if there's somebody else with you, you can tell them what to do and they can take over because as you'll see, it is knackering.
Yeah.
It's really hard work.
And how long would you normally do that for whilst, I mean, it could be 5,
It
10, 15 minutes.
depends where you live. I mean, in London, the response time is around 9 minutes to get to a cardiac arrest. In cities, it's generally that, but if you're out in the countryside, it can take 40, 50 minutes for an ambulance to get to you. So you would keep going. But an ambulance is on its way, and then you're giving CPR, and you're giving that person the very best chance of survival.
How long
You
was
can
your
swap
CPR?
with people.
You can swap.
You can swap.
Just interesting then what you said about the position. You said right in between.
Right here, so that dip in your chest.
So it's there, is
Yeah.
it? Because that to me would be, I would always think it was to the left,
Side,
over the
yeah.
heart. I would never think it was in the middle of the actual sort of chest there.
But why don't more people do it? Is it because they go into shock as well? Is that you were saying? People panic and they don't know what-
worry that they can make things worse. At that point, you can't make anything worse. You can only help that person stand a chance of
So
survival.
keep going even.
Keep going. If there's a defibrillator nearby, you ask somebody to go and get a defibrillator. You can place the pads on the defibrillator. Will talk you through exactly what to do. So you don't need any training to use a defib. But what we're doing with SkyBet is the British Heart Foundation are partnering with SkyBet. We want 270,000 people, so that's 3 Wembley stadiums worth of people, to learn CPR over the next year as part of our partnership. And it will save lives. CPR does save lives. We just want more people.
And how near would a machine be? You were saying how, like in London, is there thousands and thousands? Like
We're aware that there's over 100,000 defibs out there in the UK.
Right.
Yeah.
We've got the circuit, which is the National Defibrillator Network, which maps where all the defibs are. So the ambulance service can see where your nearest one is when you call 999, and ideally you can send someone to go and get it while you give CPR. But there's a lot of defibs out there that aren't registered on the circuit yet.
And are you trying to get more of them? Is that the plan?
We are,
To try
and we want all football clubs as well to have as many defibs as possible.
Yeah.
The communities around the football clubs.
Are they expensive? Are they...
Around £1,000. But you can get it out there 24/7, public access, and it can make such a difference.
Tom, how long were they doing CPR for you? Do you know?
No, so because they knew what was going on with me almost instantly,
Yeah.
it was almost straight on with the defib.
Yeah.
So you were lucky where it happened at a football stadium, basically, yeah?
Unbelievably lucky, yeah. Like we said, it was, I think the stats said less than 10% if it happens outside of hospital. Less than 10% of people survive, and when you put into context, 30,000 people in the UK have a cardiac arrest each year. So every football match, 5 people in the UK will have a cardiac arrest. That's 5 families ruined. You know, especially if the people don't know how to do CPR and then use a defib.
So the defib got your heart going again straight away. Is that what happened? Then they don't obviously after that point then.
Yeah, because they knew instantly, they came straight on. The defib, they always carried a defib anyway.
Yeah.
Once they seen it was me after what happened at Wembley, they knew.
Just put it straight on, yeah.
And they knew straight away.
So this pumping the Staying Alive is for till the defib gets there. Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So you need to keep the blood flowing because the heart's not beating how it normally does.
you're
So
beating it.
you're basically the heart here. And like what Gary said earlier, Estelle, the geezer who saved Glenn Hoddle, he broke 7 of his ribs from doing the pressure. And people are scared of, but Glenn's here, he's here today. You know, he was sore for a few months after, but...
Broken ribs will heal, won't
yeah,
they?
exactly.
Yeah.
Just quickly on that rhythm again, because obviously, I mean, not everyone will know Staying Alive, particularly sort of younger generation.
Absolutely.
Because it seemed a lot quicker than I thought it would be as well. Then when you were sort of actually asking, what is there anything else that would be?
It's about
I don't know many people won't know Staying Alive.
No, I'm telling you,
Sorry,
Wrighty. You know what I mean? I can tell you
Sorry.
that. You know, there's been some 20-odd-year-olds that won't know Staying Alive. You
It's
know what I mean?
about 100 to 120 beats per minute that you need to push.
So
it's-
2
it's
every
like-
1 second.
Yeah,
It's literally that, isn't it?
It is. That's perfect, Gary. But what we're asking, so those 270,000 people that will learn CPR as a result of our partnership, they will learn through Reviver, which is the BHF's training tool. It's online, it's 15 minutes, it's free for everyone, and it teaches you how to recognise a cardiac arrest, how to call 999, because weirdly people are worried about calling 999 or when they should call at the right time, how to give chest compressions, so it will give you feedback on your chest compressions and play Staying Alive, so you get the beat in your head, and then how to use a defibrillator
I think we
as
need
well.
to do something about up-to-date song as well, Gal. Now I'm thinking about it.
There's loads. You go on Spotify and you can type in life-saving beats, and
Right.
you'll get your own playlist.
We'll put them on the put them on this programme. I think that's the most important 5-10 minutes that we've ever done on Stick to Football, because hopefully it'll
Save
help
lives.
someone and save lives.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
you.
Right. Come
your
on, we can get this done, or else we're in a mess.
Look at his
My
sharkies.
grandson gave me that, my key ring.
sounds
I
sweet.
just put it in there.
Did Clattenburg give you that? Right, welcome to Super 6.
Right, sorry.
Yeah, he wants it back. We had a night. Well,
Last
you had a
week,
night.
Gary, 6 points,
Thank you, Ben.
I fucking told you, but you don't
So
listen
you're
to
on-
me. You never listen to me.
126.
Oh, what's it? 6. No, we.
You beat 357,000 people. Pretty good.
Well done.
So it's a hard week then,
Yeah,
obviously.
it was a tough week, yeah. And then Roy, 4 points.
Well,
There
if
you go.
six,
You
is,
know
if
what?
6
No.
beat that many people, we must have beat a few as well.
Yeah.
Uh,
Bad week for you.
108,000.
That's okay.
Right, Super 6.
Let's go.
You should have gone Arsenal.
Have we only got 2 more of
you
these
should
Should
left?
have gone Arsenal.
I know, but what about the other ones as well?
Yeah, but the thing is, go
2
with
more
the
left.
2 more left. This is it.
Tottenham.
Right,
Oh, we have to go crazy here.
Tottenham, Burnley. Right,
Right.
come on, we'll go first.
Go on, you go first.
Definitely Tottenham.
Yeah. I don't think
Oh, I don't know about that.
3-1.
3-1
You
Tottenham.
love. Oh, you love 3-1. You
You
slagged
do.
me off.
3-1.
She changes her tune when she's across with Gal.
I know. I feel like I'm on the proper team.
Only get something on there.
I'm trying
I don't deliberate, I just go for it.
Spurs are thing at the minute, but like Burnley.
YouTube this questions the ins and outs of her. Honestly.
Such a
And they don't
Gal,
get
Gary,
any
be
back.
Gal, don't get
quiet.
involved.
Jesus, keep your nose out.
We'll just have breakfast.
But we have to gamble somewhere. Look,
It's true.
it's a must-win game. We're at home.
Chocolate's so nice in that.
Could you like a draw? Could Burnley go down there and get something?
No chance.
Spurs were awful last week.
They'll be down by the time you finish answering the question.
I'm gonna
Go on, Wrighty. Go with you're London. You're neck of the woods, not London.
2-0 Spurs.
There we go.
You think they'll keep a clean sheet, set
I think
pieces
they
with the
will. I
goalkeeper?
think they will.
It's on the board, right.
Newcastle, Brighton.
Us, Newcastle, Brighton. This is this Saturday, yeah?
That's at
Yeah.
Newcastle.
Saturday, 3 o'clock.
Newcastle, 3-0, 3-1.
Yeah, 3-1.
3-1. We give Brighton
Big.
a goal.
No, let's not give Brighton a goal.
No, 3-0 then,
What do
Wrighty.
you think, big?
You're very kind of
I feel-
bossy today.
I don't feel bossy. I just feel really.
You want to take
decisive.
control. Brilliant.
I feel
That's
decisive.
good.
I got 3-1 again. They got a goal in Brighton.
You think?
Yeah, they do stupid things, don't they, going forward?
Look at me. Look. Shoot.
3-1.
Yeah, I go 3-1.
You were decisive.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
Right, who's the next
Here we
one?
go. So it's
Oh, it's the big one.
West Ham, Luton.
West Ham, Luton.
Really fancy
set
Luton here.
pieces.
I feel under pressure. Should we go draw?
Not
Luton.
a draw's no good to it.
Luton
A draw's
have
no
to
good to
win.
him. A draw's no
Luton
good to him.
have
So
to
then,
Is this David Moyes' last game at home? I think they'll give him an amazing reception. I think the players will be up for it. There's a bit of a...
and why weren't the players up for it last week?
It is. OK, last week, I'm going West Ham win.
Do you think?
Players will be up for it next week. What was wrong with last
I'm
week?
not defending West Ham's players. I'm saying I just think there'll be a thank you type environment.
I didn't thank him last week. I'm amazed with
sorry.
players. We'll be up for next week. Forget last week, by the way.
I think
Idiots.
Jared Bowen's is going to be a real problem for him. But like, I think.
We're going
what
to
are you
go.
going with?
We're going to go.
We
I think-
can't say they're getting beat when Tom is sat right there.
Sorry, Tom.
I think we need
It's
to
nothing
go,
personal,
I
this.
think
But
we
yeah,
need
we're
to
still
go
feeling it
draw.
as well.
Hurry on.
What, we're going to draw because Tom's here?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to lose the whole competition because Tom. I mean, that's sentimental. That.
Listen to.
I know, but-
You're
I don't
making
do
a
sentiment.
decision
I don't do
because of
sentiment very
emotion.
well, Jill.
Hurry on.
Get on with it, Jill.
We'll go draw. We'll go 1-1.
It's
Well, it won't be a
Tom, though,
draw,
isn't
will
it?
We're going 1-1.
We're going Luton win.
Luton 2-1.
We're going to go Luton win.
See, they've gone for a
Wow.
week.
That's because is that because you're falling out with
No,
the West
because
Ham
Luton
players?
no.
He's falling out with the West Ham players. He's not having.
Yeah, West Ham players officially are a joke.
Yeah, well, and they,
We
and
turn
they
up
hear
when
it
we
again.
want.
They hear it again, okay?
And
So-
we needed a change, a new manager.
2-1,
That's why they never win nothing.
because they have to get something. And
Well,
if West Ham's the kind of place where they can do that.
Exactly.
Come on.
Bournemouth, Brentford.
You love Bournemouth.
I do. I love
Got
Bournemouth.
connections with them, don't
I
you?
haven't got Bournemouth. I think that
Bournemouth.
Bournemouth.
2-1. Let's go 2-1.
Yeah, give them a go.
2-1
Give Brentford a
Bournemouth,
go.
yeah.
I'm feeling good about
Tony,
these
yeah,
ones this
yeah.
week.
Do you know, I think
I
we're
feel
in with
good.
a
I feel
chance,
good this week.
That would have been my choice. I would have said 2-1.
You can.
What, to Bournemouth?
Good copy.
No, let's do something
We'll
different.
do something different. Go on,
Don't
Jill.
do something different just because. You know,
Yeah.
just do what you feel.
Yeah, but I'm trying to make it
1-0.
interesting. If we
No,
just
don't
match
make
you
it
up.
interesting.
What?
1-0. Or do you think more goals? We
We'll
can't
go-
go 3-1
Yeah, we
again.
can go 1-0.
1-0.
They're a bit tight, aren't they? 1-0's good.
This game is never going to
gonna
be
be 1-0, is it?
Never gonna
Okay,
be
if
1-0.
this is 1-0,
Make sure you
You
keep
can
that as
buy
a
me a
Remember
watch.
this, yeah. I'll buy you new perfume.
No, I'll buy you some
That's
perfume.
Cheap stuff.
this is a nice perfume.
No, it's not a nice
it's not.
perfume.
You're better
I'll
than
buy you
Forest
some really
Chelsea.
nice perfume if that's more
Sure,
than
go.
Okay.
Sure, go.
I'll get
Forest
you,
Chelsea.
and then you'll see.
I think it's a draw. I think it's 1-1.
No.
1-1?
What do you think?
No, go on. It's fine. I trust you.
2-1 Forest.
Forest have to win, don't they?
You think Forest will beat Chelsea?
I don't think
Chelsea
they will.
away from home are a different animal, don't
I think Chelsea. I don't think. You know something?
They improved a lot,
Forest,
though.
Forest there with Gibbs White away.
But Forest mightn't have to win.
Is it-
Forest might stay up with.
One year's back, I think, isn't he? He's on the bench now. You probably have to.
2-1 Forest. Come on, I've got my key ring there, 2-1.
Yeah, it's true.
Tom's there.
I think as well. You know, the thing is, I
He's
think
not listening.
He is.
This is the big one.
I think.
Yeah, it goes to the last game then.
I think Chelsea.
Arsenal. have-
Poor record.
Can we just hold back on? I'm not sure about the Forest because I think Chelsea.
I let you have the first two. You went boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, but it doesn't make sense us going for Luton and then going for Forest as well.
So what do you want to do?
We have to say Forest are losing, otherwise it doesn't make no sense if Luton win. We need Forest to lose.
Ah, leave it, leave it.
Leave
Come
it?
on.
Let's leave it. Cut that bit out of the whole show. Right, this one. Who's first here?
Arsenal's
You're
going
first.
to win big, aren't they?
I'm not going to go Arsenal to win. See?
That's how big they're going to win. They're going to
It's
set
starting
the
to
place
fire.
on fire.
Everybody out. Okay, cool.
Toast is on the way.
You know something with this one?
You're
I'm
really
gonna go
funny. You
City.
should be sat
That
here.
could be
The
Carragher.
thing is, we just need to win the
Jill.
game.
So,
So
could be Carragher's. What turned up?
2-1, 3-1 to Arsenal.
I'm going to go
2-1.
like 3-1.
Gonna be
Three-
big,
You
do
know
you
what?
think?
Even
United can score.
There's two things.
United can score
United
both.
can score. They
Arsenal-
can
I'd
score.
say 2
Three
3-1
things.
Arsenal.
One, Arsenal, it's massive for Arsenal. Secondly, United's record against the top half teams isn't that bad at home. I think City have
2-1
beat them.
Arsenal.
Yes, I think United will.
City have beat United at home, but I actually think a lot of the other top teams haven't beat United at home.
You think Arsenal could drop points?
The other thing is they've got a really poor record. I think they've only won one in 16.
Are we talking about this? Are we going to put
Yeah.
this Man United in the poor record
Yeah.
vibe because this Man
No,
United?
this season, I think City beat United at Old Trafford, but I think Liverpool, Newcastle, Tottenham, Chelsea, Villa have all not won there.
Arsenal best defensive record.
Villa got
best
beaten there.
defensive
Villa got
record.
beaten there.
Yes, I'm saying to
Why
you
should
so.
we go there,
I'm just-
organised
I'm
like
just-
we are, Gal?
No, I'm just
not
saying
beat
it's like this game it's almost as if like it's been.
I know what you mean. Yeah, yeah.
It's almost as if it's been dismissed because United that bad, which we all get. But this could be can be a
free hit
can be
for-
a graveyard, Old Trafford.
United.
Yeah, but I think that
United
the-
four cup finals left. Every game's a cup.
they've got every game's got. I'm
I still think. Look, I mean, Arsenal should win.
We just
Arsenal
want a
should win.
prediction. We just want a
I know
prediction,
you're going to
Gareth.
get one. Jill, where you at?
See, I think big, me.
I'm not sure United. I'm not sure Arsenal are going to win.
Really?
Well,
Go
go for a
against
draw.
Go
United.
on, you
I-
go
I-
for it.
I
Go
think
for a draw. The title's over.
You
now.
got to
You
buy
go
Jill
for it.
Jill, you wanted to go Arsenal win, didn't
I'm
you?
gonna,
If you get it wrong, you can buy
Do you know
his
what I'm gonna do?
perfume.
Manager, innit?
Do you know what I'm going to do? Look, I think
Then-
Arsenal should win, but there's a madness about Old Trafford United. This game, usually on a title race, it doesn't, and it did do with Liverpool, but it doesn't ordinarily work out as you think.
We know that, Gary.
And I think that City, if they win Saturday against Fulham, if Arsenal draw, then they could win the league. It won't go to the last day.
Shall we go
is my
draw
feeling.
then?
So the score
So I'm
is-
going to go 2-2.
Okay.
I like it.
He's thinking outside the box.
It's just a feeling. Arsenal should
Thank you
win.
very much.
Thanks.
Go, say go.
Arsenal should win.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
just a
thank
feeling.
you.
See,
It's a feeling.
I just had a feeling. I think Luton will win.
That's a feeling.
It's a feeling. If it doesn't happen, a feeling is a feeling, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
Jill, talk
We're finished.
about title races.
Yes.
Last Sunday night, all hell broke loose.
Yes.
What happened?
I actually couldn't believe that day from the start to the finish. So obviously, City women are playing Arsenal 1-0 up. I think it was about 86 minutes.
Something.
And I was actually at the Lake District and I lost connection. So I just thought City had won. And then Arsenal scored 2 goals right at the death of the game. So Man City get beat. And then Chelsea have a 7-goal difference to make up in terms of the goal difference, and they get an 8-0 win on the night.
You know, the thing is, though, Gal, it
just
started.
crazy.
You know what it is, Jill? It started with Liverpool-Chelsea.
Yes, it did.
When Liverpool beat Chelsea 4-3, and Emma came out and she kind of said, you know, that's it. It's done. It's over. I don't know if it was mind games. I don't know what it was when Emma saying that, but she said it's over. You know, City then.
So who's favourites now? Who would be
I
favourites?
probably think Chelsea. Chelsea are favourites.
Oh.
You know, Chelsea are favourites. You're looking at Chelsea. You're not fancy.
Well, I just want City to win so bad, but I would hate for them not to get the position that we're in. I know, but the position that we're in. So basically, Chelsea's got 2 games, haven't they? They have to win the 2.
Against 2, though, they've got tough games.
Yeah, they have actually. Tottenham and Man United.
But no, Chelsea win those 2.
Do you think?
Right.
Yeah. Chelsea, I think Chelsea win.
Well, it's probably going to come down to goal difference, really. But I just think the position City were in at the beginning of that day, it was like it wasn't going to go any other way. And I just think that is what is so mad about football. This is going to be the closest title run-in that there's probably ever been.
Would you say they bottled it, or is that, can you say
It's a horrible thing to say.
No. So a draw would have been fine against Arsenal. A draw would have been a good result.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
boy, they're 1-0
1-0
up in 87 minutes. You know, I know that.
But is there a striker injured? Is there a missing a striker?
Yes, Bunny Shaw.
Yeah,
Right.
Bunny Shaw.
Shaw's missing, but at the same time, a lot of women Moyes was missing for Arsenal. I'm not saying it would be different because Arsenal is a whole different story in what they underachieved for me this season. But if Bunny Shaw plays in that game, they probably win that game.
Yeah.
But for them to at that stage of the game lose 2 goals simply because of concentration at that stage of the game, that game should be totally locked down.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen. And Stina Blackstenius, bam, 2 goals.
But there's going to be 2 great stories either way because it's Steph Houghton's last season. 10 years as captain at Man City. She's retiring at the end of the season. And then obviously Emma Hayes.
It's good for the game, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's
no,
good
it's great for the game. But I think even Chelsea seeing that result and going out against Bristol and winning 8-0, that is such a big result. And I think for them to do that, they obviously deserve
That's what they're capable of. Again, I was very surprised that Liverpool beat them. It was too open. For an Emma team who were really quite organised, and I couldn't believe that Liverpool broke through them that many times. And so you kind of had the feeling that maybe this isn't their year. And then City's literally handed it back to them. When you look at who's missing from Chelsea, Kerr, Millie Bright's only just come back. Kerr with her hamstring, Fischl is out. You know what I mean? People like that. Like I say, Millie's just coming back. Macario just coming back halfway through the season. Like Aggie Beavers-Jones. You know what I mean?
She's
Aggie
been
Beavers-Jones,
brilliant.
unbelievable.
But Wrighty, you've got jeopardy and twists and turns in a title race. That was the norm in the men's game, and there's just an inevitability about City in this last few years that you just think they're just going to carry on winning, and it's just we need a twist and turn. You need twists and turns in title races to make it interesting.
Yeah, I think what hasn't gone Chelsea's way is kind of they've been a bit of a victim of their own success because they were still in all 4 competitions. So in terms of fixture congestion, even though Royals here, the professional footballers, they should be able to cope with it. I can hear you.
And they had some tough decisions go against them in the Champions League, wasn't it?
Yes, that was really tough.
But then City have only had the league to focus on since going out of the FA Cup and the League
But if City
Cup.
are missing a striker, what's their squad? Are they missing a
They've got
striker?
they've brought Chloe Kelly
but
in,
Chloe's
who wasn't
not a number
getting
9.
Right.
minutes.
Chloe's not a number 9. Mary Fowler, she's not going to go in and be as clinical as Bunny Shaw. Bunny Shaw was the one. She would have finished this off, I believe, for City. They haven't really got someone to actually to replace her. This is why, they do need.
Do you watch every game, Wrighty? Do you watch all the WSL games?
I watch as many games as I can. There's so many games to watch.
Yeah.
But I think what this shows City is that they need another player. They need to sign a top player.
So who you going, Chelsea?
I'm probably going to go. Chelsea now.
Momentum.
I'm going to hope City can pull it out.
City,
of
who
the
have they got left?
Aston Villa.
Should they beat them?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. I'm going to
But
that
like
game
you say
on
that,
Saturday.
you say that, Jill, but for them to be as for me just so lax
Yeah.
at that stage with so much on the game, I wouldn't surprise me if Villa beat them.
I think so.
Yeah.
Right, talk about 2 late goals last night. Real Madrid, Bayern Munich.
What a game.
There's something. It's about inevitability.
Again.
Real Madrid,
Again.
they have a hold on that. They have a hold on that
You know what?
competition.
Unbelievable.
It really is.
Brilliant.
And Roy was
This-
watching that.
yeah,
It's
this-
just like amazing.
It is great to watch the Champions League. The standard, I think, at the knockout stage of some of the games recently, I thought have been brilliant.
Fantastic.
Did you watch it together?
Yeah.
Oh, so you had a little bromance, no invite. Did you get an invite? I didn't either.
We had-
Wrighty didn't get an invite.
when are you lot going to understand that I just turn up? Do I have to say it again? I'm turning up. I'm in Manchester.
Do you talk
Well, you give
through
credit,
the
you know, we
game?
talk about...
Yeah.
We talk,
Yeah.
no, not that much.
We just like every now and then. No, you know what? I'm one of those when I'm watching, I can't help but
Yeah.
speaking about, oh my God, he's got, oh, look at that left side.
Yeah, but we
oh,
want-
look at that switch. But we just,
chatting, we weren't analysing it.
No.
But what you got to give real credit for, we think about the City game and over last year, they hang in there, don't
Yeah.
they? For all their brilliance,
Yeah.
they hang in games.
And their experience, the manager, and they're just. You
yeah, but you
You just
say
knew it was coming last night. But the keeper makes a mistake, but they're ready to pounce on
Yeah,
it.
they take the advantage. But what it is that we do talk about Real Madrid as they've got some hold on it and this and that, but it's different generations of players that have been ingrained and indoctrinated in what it means to play for this club. That's what it should be.
Yeah.
And this is why you have to think that the opposition players, the opposition, are probably thinking when it's getting down to that stage. It's like Fergie time. You're getting down to that stage, you're playing at Old Trafford, you're starting to feel a little bit nervous. This is when they come. That's what Real Madrid have over everybody.
But mistakes, the
City
mistakes
should have
come
beat
into
them.
it. The goalkeeper, brilliant goalkeeper, he was having a great night.
Yeah.
He threw it out a bit earlier, should have calmed down. And then it's a pretty standard save. And it looks like
You
just
said he
took
took his
it
eyes
looks like
off,
he just
didn't
took
he?
his eye off it.
I love the way the
Oh,
forward.
I loved it. Brilliant
Yeah.
finish.
Do you not think the subs, though? The subs were a big one for me, I think.
one? Who?
Well, just in terms of taking
yeah.
Harry Kane
Yeah,
off.
but he's back. You said, you hear? Tuchel said he's back. It's not
Injured, yeah.
right. But you know what? He
You know, I know you used to leave him on the pitch, but I don't think he was that great on the night. But I know you used to leave him on the pitch because it's a good chance it goes to extra time. I'm still thinking it might go to extra. That's what we said last night.
Even if he can't move today, you've got through. It doesn't matter about his back.
It does, Jill. You can't be that. You can't be that. What's it called?
If
Lax
he's
about
been-
someone's back because the back is the worst.
If he's been taken off in the Champions League semi-final late on, his back's not.
Something's
good.
wrong.
His back's not good.
Can't be.
He would not be taken off.
It's
I
too
mean,
much on-
he's
there's
he's
too
one of
much
them
on it,
players.
Jill.
He's solid as a rock. Him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What I loved about watching a game like that, where Real Madrid was so dominant, but they broke a few times, right? Bayern.
Oh, Bayern, yeah.
And it was like it was devastating,
Yeah.
especially when Alphonso Davies came on. Yeah. Devastating. You could see him actually in that side. You know, Gnabry went off, he came on, and he was electric. And you're thinking, this is perfect the way they're playing. It was almost like
Dortmund were good,
It was
wasn't
like
Yeah,
Dortmund
they
against
were good.
PSG.
Dortmund were
Brilliant the way they
What about
silenced them.
Justin? Do you talk about an example of Manchester United, and we'll come on to United in a bit. But Jadon Sancho, he was awful at United. He was awful. Let's be clear. You know, his performance levels, his confidence, his belief. He goes to a different team, and all of a sudden you start to see a player that think, how's that happen? Why is that happening time and time again? That players with great reputations come into Old Trafford and they just don't work with them.
Into this Man
They come
United.
back out and they go, oh, they're normal again. Yeah. No, in the last, it's probably happened for 10 years, right?
Okay, 10 years.
Who else? Who else would you say that? How many are you talking about players who've been
Well,
at United?
I think over the last 10 years, Roy, there's only one player that Manchester United have signed that I think's actually lived up to expectation or achieved what he has done previously, and that's Bruno Fernandes. I can't think of any other signing that you would think has gone on to excel at the club. Maybe
David De Gea.
No, that was before. That was
Okay,
Sir Alex Ferguson.
okay.
But Luke Shaw, probably, to be fair, when he's been fit, but has played at a high level, I think, and grown from where he was maybe at Southampton. You could maybe argue that. But all the other big signings, whether it's Di Maria, Schweinsteiger, Falcao, whether it's Pogba, whether it's Maguire, Mount this season, Varane, every player. There's none of them I've missed.
I think
Why is it that Jadon Sancho can come in and then all of a sudden just go back there?
Every case is different. I think the
is.
Sancho one, I saw him against Atletico Madrid, and he wasn't that great, don't get me wrong. He does look a bit sharper, I think, in the last few games I've seen him. But I think that can happen to a player, can go to a club, a bit of a fallout with the manager, whatever. And again, I still think playing for Man United and Dortmund is different. I know Champions League is a big competition. He's been in Germany before, and maybe just kind of more comfortable in them surroundings.
Right.
You mentioned desire, confidence. He's obviously got that now.
But why don't we create a comfortable surrounding? at Old
There's
Trafford?
obviously a problem at United in terms of the bigger
Definitely.
picture. Listen, we'll be here all day talking about whether it be the recruitment, whatever's going on at the training ground, whoever's taking the sessions, whether it be in terms of setting good examples. I think all that there must be something. There can't be a good atmosphere, I think, at the moment at United's training ground. There can't be for all that to happen so much. Yeah, a player can come to your club and he might struggle, but as you said, there's so many coming to the club. And it's not as if they've not improved, it's almost they've gone backwards. And that must be a concern for the ownership, for the manager, the coaching staff, the supporters, because you're looking at Man United and you're looking going, it's happening in front of your eyes, and you're thinking, can it get any worse? You're thinking, well, it could get worse. They got Arsenal coming up, they have Newcastle coming up, they have a cup final coming up.
I think that when you look at Jadon Sancho, even with the, like you mentioned, the Atletico Madrid game, and I watched that, but what you saw with that is he still knew exactly what he had to do. He might not play well in the system, Roy. You know what I'm saying? But like what we saw is that he actually understands where he needs to be, how he can, when he does get on it, just go and make something happen, like we saw him do against PSG, and he looked. But
there's no reason he can't go back to United next year and have an impact.
But have they got the same structure in what he
Clearly
needs?
not.
Clearly this is what it comes down to, I think. You know,
not.
Environment as well. Like a player going in should be able to thrive, shouldn't they? But the other thing, it's going the other way. And I seen him after, and he's like, it seems like Dortmund have got like a great the dancing, the what. Like I can't see United doing that, and I don't think they're creating an environment where players go in and reach the next level. It's almost like they go in at a certain level and they go down.
You wouldn't want to sign for United this moment in time, and the player has to take responsibility. Sometimes you have to go in and find your own form and find your own way of having an impact. Whether it be Mountain, we said players are picking up injuries, etc. But you have to go into an environment. From my own experience of going to a club where you go, you've got to walk into a good dressing room. You think, listen, there's a bit of a momentum at the club. There's people making the right decisions. But maybe United, for all the bad decisions they've made over the last 5-10 years, maybe they're getting what they deserve. If they're making such bad decisions at board level and the recruitment side of it, then maybe you deserve to go through this difficult patch.
But seeing Jadon play like that, you can't help but look
it's
back.
stark for a Manchester United fan. You look at him playing like that in the Champions League, biggest games, and you think that's it shines a big light on it. We'll come back to United a bit. I think when our friend from Liverpool turns up from the train, because we'll talk about you weren't happy with his Casemiro statement, but this week David Moyes has been announced. It's been a bit messy at West Ham this week. I've got a little bit of sympathy for West Ham in terms of what's happened this week, and to be fair, it didn't look particularly good on the club in terms of how it's happened. The leaks of the new manager coming, David Moyes, unbelievable performer and servant to West Ham, didn't deserve that at the end. But as a club owner or a club sort of CEO, there's a fine line between ending a manager's tenure at your club and having the next one lined up and looking like you're smart and you know what you're doing, versus letting the manager go who's been there for a long time and then starting to work out who it is and looking naive because you can't get someone in. I think what West Ham have tried to do is make it smooth, and they've obviously got the comms wrong at the end. Where are you at with the way in which West Ham have dealt with David Moyes' situation?
It's not been good. Absolutely. Surely you can still get... There's obviously his contract's up. David's not daft. He knows if there's not been chats the last few months, he will be moving on. And you can do it. What happened to clubs doing their business discreetly? Surely you could have... There was pictures of managers flying over to have chats and all that's getting out there.
With agents, I think that's more difficult now, isn't it?
Of course. Listen,
Back in the day, though, a picture was took on a disposable camera. Now you've got, like,
of course,
cameras everywhere, isn't
I think there's definitely ways of doing it. There's classy ways of doing it. And the way David Moyes deserved better than that. Yeah. He deserved better at Man United when he left Man United, the way that was handled. Like, really...
Yeah, it was bad,
really bad.
Oh,
no class.
Oh, my God. Are you rough?
No, I'm fine.
Oh,
it's not right, is it? Sorry.
Look.
Does that say we have no memory tonight?
Give my chair up.
You got no memory this morning.
That sums up his last 2 weeks.
Okay.
All right, yeah, good, thanks.
Let's get some whiskey for him. Let's sort him out.
Hey,
no more drink for him.
I needed some whiskey yesterday when I saw that fucking advert.
Didn't you like it? I was saying, I thought he looked good. And that's why he's probably waiting for comments like that.
No.
That's
not Hawes and Curtis.
No, that's nice.
How much was it?
So we'll come on to your lady.
How much?
So, did you sleep through your alarm?
You slept through your
Don't turn it on to me having walked in 45 minutes late. You slept through your alarm.
I'm still getting full pay or no?
Have you ever
Sorry,
have
Roy.
you done that before?
Sorry,
Have you
Roy.
ever slept through an alarm?
That's been a really
before?
important point there.
What's happened?
Did
Jay?
you go for a
That's
few
not
drinks
you.
last night?
No, I didn't. No, I was just
said he-
knackered.
he's not-
Monday night football.
No,
two
this
Champions
morning.
League.
We're on West Ham, David Moyes,
Oh.
and looking like they've got their ducks in a row before leaving, but obviously it's gone wrong for them because they've had obviously a situation where it's not been handled in a communications fashion, in a correct way, and it looks messy. And he didn't deserve that at the end. That's where we're at.
Yeah. And it is messy, isn't it?
Would
You know what?
would you then, because people have said in the last few weeks about Jurgen Klopp being announced at Liverpool early and doing it properly because he deserved, would David Moyes have deserved that sort of
Did they have any
standalone
choice but to
announcement?
do Liverpool's like when they did?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, because David Moyes a few weeks ago said, look, we've come to a decision, we're going to end it at the end of the season, and then say, let them go and get a new manager, because when you're pursuing managers like Liverpool have done with Arne Slot, say, it doesn't look as messy because it's all pretty obvious.
What could West Ham have done?
No, I'm saying I've got some sympathy for West Ham in terms of getting things lined up. They could have announced it. David Moyes could have deserved, though, good communication around it and maybe being told. They could have announced David Moyes leaving earlier to allow them to go and get the new managers lined up. That's the only thing they could have done.
Football's ruthless though, isn't it? Like nowadays, you don't get them perfect moments, them send-offs of flowers. Sometimes you're just another cog in a system.
But it's not necessarily about the perfect send-off. It's just showing the manager a bit of respect.
Yeah, no, I agree they
Like,
should have done it, but...
Obviously, West Ham are going to be speaking to other people, but you don't need to know all the names. You don't need to see photographs of it. We all know that goes on. Clubs speak to other people, and of course. But why does it have to be always out there and
It's the agent,
names
I
being
think it's the agent's role.
No, listen, it doesn't help, of course.
So, yesterday morning... Oh, where's my phone?
What day was that?
What's up now?
Yesterday morning.
Yesterday morning.
year was it?
Let me just find out. Let me just get this. It's a bit messy.
Just
this
after
story.
he signed his
What's up?
suit
What's
deal.
up,
What's up, Gary?
Tell James.
There was a headline sent to me.
What was it?
Ian Wright defends Casemiro and brands Jamie Carragher disrespectful for brutally telling Manchester United's midfield to call it a day and saying football has left him.
Fight, guys, come on.
Obviously, Casemiro, the other night, he said he should retire.
Yeah.
I didn't say should you retire.
No. James said I remember just watching it. Obviously now, because I'm always fighting something in the paper, whether it's you or Roy, whatever you said, people always digging me out. What's your mate talk on about now? But the thing is that it was only when, I was just thinking of myself as like when...
What?
What happened there?
It was a cough, I think.
Casemiro?
I was only thinking about it as myself coming to the end and hearing people when they're saying that you're done, it's over kind of vibe. Simply because we are talking about a player, and you have to mention Sancho, like we mentioned Sancho earlier, and how he's gone somewhere with structure, how he's playing now. Still talking about the Brazilian captain here, who's 32. You know what I mean? In a team with no structure, he's just there in space, and you know what I mean? He's being exposed, and I just felt like only in that moment, just like with the League Two, those moments when you say things, it just takes it to another place of, like you think, oh God, I'm going to have to fight off again. But at the same time, you look at his career, you look how well he's done, and of course, but when you're that exposed, James, it's like, fuck me.
He's the last player you would have played as centre-half against Palace.
Yeah.
In his defence.
Yeah.
Like, for all his experience. So, some players have all the experience, but they don't show it at certain times. But if you're looking at the whole Man United squad, if you're telling me one player I wouldn't play centre-half against Crystal Palace, who at home have got something going, they've scored 5 against West Ham recently, they'll beat
Newcastle.
Newcastle 2. They even scored 2 against City. You're telling me he's not playing centre-half against I don't care.
Would you play Wan-Bissaka instead?
Anyone.
James, would you play
Anyone.
Wan-Bissaka instead?
In that game, I would have.
In that game.
I thought that's
I'm not saying you're having a great time in midfield anyway. You're on about being isolated. Talk about a manager, if you're saying, as I got a bit older, and also when you get to 31, 32, and every time you have a bad game, and it was a shocker, listen, and I had it every time you had a bad, you finish at that level. But players can get through it if they play in the bloody best position.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I looked at Casemiro the other night and he's having a bad time, but I'm thinking, the other players, he's not getting, obviously, any help. If your legs are going a little bit and you're not quite, you get people around you. That's where he probably should have done better with his experience. Or the players, defensively, he got no help whatsoever.
Yeah.
They're all over the place.
Oh, they were all over the place.
We speak about that all the time, though, don't we? About that midfield
But that's where your experience
protection
comes in, Jill.
all the
Another
time.
thing as well, Joe, though, was Casemiro's, like I said, captain of Brazil, he will be playing in the Copa America. I bet he's not that exposed.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I just watched it, and it wasn't off one game. I mean, I did a piece on Casemiro at the start of the season against Tottenham, and that was a bit like, this man-to-man marking system Ten Hag does is killing Casemiro, and that was killing. It's been killing him for a year. I think we did it, didn't we, after the Tottenham game, which was, I think, Man United's second game of the season. And he's not the most mobile. And I don't think Ten Hag's system helps him. But I've been that wasn't a reaction to that game. This is like, I feel like I've been watching this for 6. No, I'm talking. I feel like I've watched it all season. Where like,
but something happened in the summer, Jamie. I think certain players go away, and I think some players go away and have a really good summer. I'm not saying
like
he did have a good year. He did have a good season last year.
Yeah.
And some players come back and they have something. When you say a good summer, listen, I've been there, done it. It's almost he's not recovered from it. He just can't get going.
When I was watching him on Monday, I think I said at half time, it was sad to watch him because when you have a bad game, we all have bad games. It was almost like I could imagine people. You can imagine social media, and you know what that's like. But it was almost like a bit laughable. You know, you think like falling on the floor a little bit, and like, do you know what I mean? I just thought, wow, it just. I don't think when you see a player of that stature, 5 Champions Leagues, captain of Brazil, Real Madrid, I was looking at that thinking, I don't want to see players of that stature.
You can't play him centre-half, Jim. No. You cannot play him centre-half.
You know what, right? I agree. I totally agree. But I think some of the things in the game were not about being, like, for the first goal, that could have been you as a holding midfield player where you step out to someone. And the one on the byline for the fourth goal, that could be, you could end up there as a midfielder.
I'm not saying he didn't have a shocker, but I just think... Yeah, listen, confidence, even great players will have a little dip in confidence. He's looking what's around him. Who's helping him?
Yeah.
So, just because...
Motivating the motivator.
Yeah. Listen, this is this is a top-class player. And you're looking at the lads around him. Johnny Evans. Johnny's a centre-half. That is his position. He's got full-backs around him going... Sometimes you recognise the reason you're playing a team game is you look at one of your teammates, you go, it's not happening. It's not happening for him today. And it might be happening for the last few months. But I'd forgive a player if he's having maybe a tough time. But when he's also out of position against a team who go, listen, we've got a couple of good players who can go by people, even people in their prime. And then it compounds mistakes. But my frustration was with the players around him. I was like, fucking help him out.
Yeah.
Help him.
But the whole
Johnny,
team was
you are a centre-half. You're full-backs. Even if you go, I've been there before, you sit back and you go, lads, we're up against it.
Come back.
Just sit in.
You played centre-back a bit, didn't you?
I played centre-half, yeah. And I tell you, it was tough.
We actually played centre-half together at Selhurst Park against, I think it was like Wimbledon or Crystal Palace, in a similar type of team that Crystal Palace have always had, where they've always had players who could cause you a problem with pace.
What age was I then, Gary? Like, what age was
probably mid to late 20s. I was early 20s.
I had a bit of pace to me. I'd like to think if I was ever caught out, and there was good players around me.
He was dribbled around 8 times on Monday, Casemiro, which is the most I think that any player has been dribbled around.
Right.
Which is obviously a problem.
Yeah. But again, there's 1 or 2 players. Palace can do that to the best players. I don't know what always them players, and they're powerful players, and they were at it. But listen, Palace are home, and everyone would look at it and go, Palace on a Monday night, it's going to be a tough night. And he was isolated through his own fault because he wasn't getting people around him or lads weren't helping him. Yeah, you have to take responsibility for that. But I still look at, if we're talking about, it's a team game, structure this, structure that, playing between the lines, that's all well and good. But the reality is when you're up against it, you need your teammates around you. That's the whole idea of playing in a bloody team. When you're having a tough time, you hope your keeper makes 1 or 2 saves. You hope your centre-half, who's played hundreds and hundreds of games, will go, listen, I've got it. If you want to, whatever. We've seen Harry Maguire have a hard time. Harry Maguire's a centre-half.
Yeah.
So, again, out of all the players at Man United, I'm talking about their reserves and youth, I would go, would there be one player I wouldn't play centre-half against Crystal Palace? He'd be the one I wouldn't play. 1%.
Would you be happy going forward with sort of Casemiro sort of still being almost front and centre of that team next season in the holding midfield? Do you think...
No,
if I was Man United,
them worries are there as well. Obviously, that's another argument regarding the other night. But you hope if he got... Again, I go back to since the summer, whatever he's gone up to in the summer, he might have had a really good time. He's not got to back up the speed.
There's 2 things on that though, Carra. One, he's on a 5-year deal, he's 4 years plus an option, and secondly, he's on huge money, so it's very difficult for them to get him out, I think.
Yeah, so
of course. He's got 3 years left.
Oh, he's not going anyway.
I think when you talk of Man United and when you talk about structure of a club and you get new people coming in, no one can get every transfer right, but there's certain things you don't do. You don't spend that amount of money on somebody that age that length of contract, and then he just that is like.
I think they
But
know.
it's done now, though. That's
With no plan for him.
I know they know that now. I mean, when they know.
No, but we said it at the time. To be fair,
It was unbelievable.
there is a wider worry about, you know, if you look back to, you know, I went surfing on YouTube this week. If you look,
I thought you were going to see a big surfer.
He's modelling and he's surfing.
if you look at a lot of Jose's interviews, Ranić's interviews, a lot of the interviews of managers, talk about players are injured too much, about the style of plays being questioned, about the manager doesn't know what he's doing, about the players, to be fair, it's a graveyard. It is a rinse and repeat this now for sort of 4 or 5 times. There is a wider sort of issue that just exists because at the start of the season, you know, Liverpool didn't have a midfield at the start of the season, right? They didn't have any midfield, right? They had Curtis Jones and Harvey Elliott at the club, right? They signed Endo. Would you have swapped Endo for Casemiro and Amrabat at the start of the season?
You're trying to justify that thing.
No.
I've seen that one.
Yeah, I did.
I've seen that one.
Let's see. Let's see.
This is a serious conversation about players at Manchester United. It's a serious conversation about players at Manchester United, what happens to them.
Right.
You'd have taken Mount over Szoboszlai. You'd have taken Casemiro over Endo or Amrabat over Endo.
But not maybe for the fees, Gary, or in
You'd
terms
have
of
taken,
talent.
not as a player, and you'd have taken Fernandes over McAllister, right? You'd have probably taken Kobbie Mainoo over Elliott. You might have taken McTominay over Curtis Jones. As a players, as a 5 or a 6. And then you've got Christian Eriksen as well. They've got 6 players in that midfield that I think are good players. Right, they might not be the best, but they're good players. Right. If you gave Jurgen Klopp in a stable Liverpool, that's 6, and you swap that 5 from Liverpool into Manchester United, what do you think would happen to those players at Manchester United if they swap them over?
They'll be better.
Yeah, definitely.
That's my concern, is that, you know, the 6 players that are there, why is every player dying on their feet all the time?
Because we mentioned it earlier, the environment and the culture at Man United must be horrible.
And the managing and the coaching, isn't it? Like, what combination works best? Like, there's got to be some element of kind of responsibility on the manager, because, as you say, Klopp would take them in and he'd work out his best 3, who's going to work with who. But I do agree with you. I think the reverse would happen.
You've got players.
Environment.
But don't forget Liverpool's midfield last season. That and the reason it was changed. Jordan Henderson and Fabinho left the club because he couldn't run. Liverpool wouldn't have bought Casemiro. They probably wouldn't have brought Eriksen. You've got 2 players who you bought a year ago who can't run.
No, Carra, I'm not saying.
Could certainly be doing better, you mean? Yeah.
My point is, if you look at the 6 players that United have got in that midfield, and you've got to get 2
Well,
off,
that goes down to the manager.
You've got to
get
get
the structure of the
I know,
club.
but we've said
He's
that.
asking them to play.
But we've said that. If you look at the interviews of Ollie, you look at the interviews of Louis van Gaal, and the interviews of Jose Mourinho, there's a large sort of alignment with what Erik ten Hag's now saying. So what do Manchester United do now? Did they just say, right, OK, you're going to be our manager for the next 2 years because actually we think the problem is just a bigger problem and we don't think you're the individual problem, because Jose wasn't the problem, or Ollie wasn't the problem, or Louis van Gaal wasn't the problem, or David Moyes wasn't. They've all found it difficult. The players have all found it difficult. Every one of them has decreased in value and performance since they've come to the club, apart from Bruno. The only one that's improved...
That's the big decision they have in the summer about the manager. Because...
But I think... where does that leave you in terms of, is it just a case of, OK, you just need to have a clean sweep, or are you thinking, actually, why don't we just say, no, it's not the manager, it can't be the manager. Actually, every manager's died here in the last 10 years. Every player has virtually died in the last 10 years here. And we've got to start to think, right, OK, we're just going to stick with what we've got. Because Casemiro, he's going to be here at Manchester United next season, unless they can get somebody from Saudi Arabia to pay huge money for some reason. He's going to be at Manchester United, so they've got to work with him, haven't they? You know, Jorginho's a good example. Right. Jorginho can't run. All right, he's better on the ball, but he can't run, right? And he was finished at Chelsea. Everyone said he can't run. He was finished at Chelsea. Goes to Arsenal. He looks a beautiful player in that Arsenal midfield with Declan Rice one side and Ødegaard the other. With that centre back partnership.
That is part of the manager's
with that centre back partnership, he looks a hell. But that's my point. So you can play in that position and not run.
Yeah, you can't shy away from the manager's responsibility. But I think there's certainly, again, the bigger picture, something's not good at the training ground. It can't be. Yeah. But of course, the manager has to come in. If you said, give these players to Klopp or Pep, world class, would I think they get more of them? Probably. So that's where the manager goes, listen, you have to take a look at yourself as well. He looked isolated the other night in the sideline. He did. And sometimes you're looking at the staff around him. You know, you've got to bring something to the party, create something, and it's just not happening, is it?
Has he lost the dressing room, do you think? Like, how do the players feel
that's again
towards
every time.
the manager?
Ollie lost the dressing room, Jose lost the dressing room.
No, but has he? Because when you say about, is he going to stay for the next 2 years, if the players aren't having him,
that's
it's
the
not going to
decision
work, is it?
Jim Ratcliffe has to make, because they've not really made a big decision yet. Hey, it's all positivity the last few months. They're coming in as if they've got all the answers.
Yeah.
Do they stick with him? He's not their man. Or do they go, listen, we're not messing about. off he goes, and we're bringing in
Well, he seems
whatever.
to be sorting
I think-
everything
I
out
think-
back
I-
in the background.
Seems
isn't
to
he?
be, yeah.
Like the staff and everything, he's sorting them all out.
Once the structures change, if it doesn't become successful, who you're looking at then? Are you just saying that's always down to the manager then because they have got the right people in?
No, I'm saying now there doesn't look to be. I mean, to be fair, Liverpool are not finding it easy to get a manager. Other clubs are not finding it easy. Bayern Munich are not finding it easy. Where do Manchester United go for a manager? There's no sort of, if you like.
Hey,
so-
Well, that's another.
You have to win something because, like someone like Glass, look at Oliver Glasner.
Yeah, do you
Palace.
understand
You have to
Southgate
win
one?
something because look at what Glasner's done. 13 games. Look at Palace. Look what Palace done at United the other day. That's what we should be about. That's what it should be.
I've come to the conclusion Southgate can't happen.
Why not?
Why?
It can't happen. Well, is Gareth? There's no way Manchester United can wait till July, mid-July, when pre-season's already started. They look like they don't know what they're doing. And there's no way Gareth can announce before a major tournament that he's going to Manchester United. It would create absolute... He won't do that. Honestly, you know Gareth, I know Gareth. But there's no way in a week's time we're going to see an announcement that Gareth Southgate's leaving England after the tournament to go to Manchester United. That would just create absolute turbulence in the England squad for a month. He's not going to do that to the FA or to the England players and create that huge distraction. You're going to have a nightmare tonight. That's not, in my opinion, that's not happening. It could. But I don't think that's happening. I think the likelihood of them naming him in July after the tournament, and it'll become pretty obvious then that Manchester United are waiting for Gareth Southgate to finish the tournament, which will become equally as bad. I can't see that happening for those reasons.
They might stick with the manager.
So
hope
I
they
think
do.
actually they will stick with the manager. I think at this moment now, I think they will stick with the manager.
Really?
Of course.
Who's
do.
doing the main coaching at Man United?
I think he does the main coaching.
Does he do it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he does.
Because everybody, I saw Scholesy the other day talking about how good McLaren is, and then you look at Man United, you look at how they play, how they set up. Jamie done a brilliant bit on the Monday night where you showed Nana and where they were and how high up they were. Weren't even looking to turn around to
Mates now.
to get. We're always mates, Jamie. Weren't even looking to get the ball to play, and you're thinking, well, they're blasting it up there. Who's going to win it up there for a start? Who's going to win the second ball? You're looking at them. I'm thinking to myself with that manager. Well, what more is that manager going to do? You know, like I just mentioned Glasner, 13 games, look at Palace, they've changed. You know, the Palace started, obviously they went with De Boer, it didn't work, then they went back to Roy, they went with Patrick, didn't work, and back to De Boer. They want to do something where they can go somewhere else, and they've now found a manager who has won stuff as well, let's face it. And look at the Palace team.
Yeah, but Palace
How
have
can
got-
it take
but
so
Palace have
long?
got-
How can it
Palace
take
have
so
got two
long?
di-
Are you still saying
Wrighty,
that?
I think
No,
Wrighty-
how are you
sorry,
still saying
but
that?
Wrighty got-
Are you still saying that our man?
I think
your
You compare
manager,
Crystal Palace to
Ten Hag,
Man United. It's all right getting a manager
at the
from Crystal
moment, yeah.
Palace.
At the moment.
We're a Palace in the league. Palace,
Yeah, but
Palace are on a good little run at home.
Yes, but Palace have just changed their managers 13
So Palace
games.
have got all the answers then.
Right.
That's not they've got all the answers, but
Do you
they've
know why
got
they're doing
structure.
well, Palace?
They've got structure and
Do you know
they've got
why?
good players.
They've got two of
They've
the
got
best.
good players who
They've got
know
two of
what
the
they're
best
doing.
players playing.
They've got two.
They've got
yes.
two very good players. Palace are 14th in the league, so don't get all excited about
No,
Crystal
no.
Palace.
It's got nothing to do with getting all excited about Crystal Palace. Why I'm excited about Palace is that their manager is changing something for them.
No, but
And
right,
we
I
can
think
see
with
it.
all it, with
Praise the Lord.
Elise,
Well, that's what you want
Eze and
from a
Elise
manager.
coming back. Eze and Elise coming back. Roy didn't have them for about
Yeah,
3 or 4 months. It was a
exactly.
massive problem. That I mean,
Yeah, but,
those two players didn't play.
even without them, they still didn't play the
I
brand
know.
of football.
I'm
that
just
Glass was
saying that
playing.
them-
We're talking
yeah.
about Adam Wharton and Hughes now playing great football, passing it through. You know, Anderson locking up. They've got a structure of play. This is what I'm trying to say. You're not saying that he might still be there in the something.
Palace, we're a Palace now. They're up to 14th.
Yeah, but I'm not bothered about where they are. I'm talking about their.
You're not bothered where they are.
No, because I'm talking
It's
about
pretty
their-
important when you're on the league table, isn't it?
No, but you're being facetious now. You're being
I'm
facetious
not.
in what you're saying simply because you know what I mean. Right? It's being facetious.
Palace are-
No, what I'm saying is the way that
You're sitting there,
Palace.
the Palace got all the answers.
No, I'm
what
not
have Palace
saying-
done for the last 20
Palace
years?
are the team that just absolutely hammered
Yeah.
fucking United.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Palace because they're in the moment.
And they beat Newcastle. They beat West Ham. They're beating good teams.
Yes, and with a new manager that knows what he's doing. This is the point I'm trying to make.
Well, we'll
This
see over
manager
next
after
year.
13
He's had a
games-
good start. If he
Yeah.
loses them two players, he sells
Which
them.
could- yeah,
what
well.
if he sells them? What'll happen?
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Right,
But
now,
like, Palace
now.
have got to get some love as well because you know it's all United and we've heard it all.
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
you know what I mean, James?
There's none here.
Let's shake hands and make
Palace
up.
14?
Where
No.
was it?
We
Where
don't
was it?
speak about United enough on this podcast.
I know
All
episode
Palace are
29.
14.
Can we have an apology? Can we have
Where are-
can we have an apology for me for being late?
I do apologise.
Cane
I
him
was-
on
Down that
Palace.
camera.
I
Have
don't
Community,
know where they
community
are.
questions. I haven't
Down
got
that
them. I haven't got the
camera.
questions.
What's
for
up with you?
community. I haven't got community questions.
It's okay.
Not here.
here we come.
Jesus, what's happened
What?
to this show?
Anyone got a question they'd like to
No,
ask
we
on
came in-
football?
Go on, James.
Anyone got a question? Go on, throw
James.
something in.
Episode.
How much for the how much for the advert? Well, you know what the bit I loved?
Go on.
Well, you done that with your arm. Like, what did they say to you?
I'd love to have seen when they said, Gary, can you just do
I'm
something?
just branching out. I'm living my life in reverse.
It
You know
was
what I mean?
like David
I love
Brent.
it. I love it.
I thought you looked smart.
Thank you,
and
Jill.
I
You
think
like the more casual
you
look.
could get some of them clothes for the Euros. Honestly.
Honestly.
Can you kit Roy out?
You know what I thought was funny?
Nice.
See Scholes' reply on the Instagram and mine, and did you see Jamie Redknapp's?
Yeah.
Jamie was like, well done.
He's a good bloke.
He
Yeah,
was made up.
exactly.
That's what I do. Me and
Exactly.
you.
Well, me and Jamie Redknapp are
We
in the same.
model.
We're in the same. You've got a closed deal, haven't you? With,
Oh, look, we have.
You've got a closed deal. You've with Adidas, obviously, as well. Jill, you got a closed
Nike, yeah.
It wasn't the clothes. It wasn't the deal. Good luck to you. Make a few quid.
Good, you know?
I think Nike
Jamie's
forgot
happy
I'm
for you.
still sponsored, actually.
What's happening, Gav? Jesus.
Okay, so just the other night, what do you think players say to each other when they walk off the pitch covering their mouths?
Oh,
to
that's so
each other?
annoying.
Oh,
That-
that wound
They're
me up.
obviously
That
saying
that
something
really got
bad,
me.
though.
Oh, my.
aren't they?
You know why it wound me up? Right, because I'd watched in the game. So on the Monday Night Football, as you know, you're watching on the normal TV that everyone's watching, and you've got like the screen where you've got every player in view. So the second half, Man United counter-attack, and Anthony plays a ball into Højlund's, a bit of a mix-up.
Yeah.
And he's throwing his arms at Højlund, and I'm watching it, and then they go back and defend a corner, and he's still doing it and doing all this, and I was like, I hate that. I mean, you know, like that. And I feel a bit sorry for Højlund, whether I'm right or wrong. I feel like
He seems
he's a
good
young
lad.
lad. He's probably, the jump's probably been a little bit too much for him to start with. He probably should have gone somewhere else for 2 years, then United maybe. And I just felt sorry for him. I could see him, and I'm thinking,
Anybody who's hiding their mouths, they're not saying something.
And then he's
good,
coming
are they?
off, and I know what listen, we've seen, he's talking about one of the players, he's talking about the manager, he's not talking about where they're going at, you know, tomorrow,
He
is
said
he?
3 times.
Yeah, and
didn't
I'm
he, or
thinking,
something? He's like-
I hate all that whispering when you've had a bad defeat, people like talking about someone, or just no.
On this show of Stick to Football, we've been working with BetterHelp. Life does move fast, things change, and if you're having a bad day or a bad time, it really does sometimes help to go and get therapy and just take stock of things and get some support. That happened to me back in 2000 after the enormous high of winning a treble. Within 6 months, I was playing terribly. I'd given away 2 goals in a World Club Championship, and I'd had a relationship breakup of about 7 years. And those 6 or 8 sessions that I had with that therapist, psychologist back at that time, those coping mechanisms I still use to this day. Visit betterhelp.com/STF today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/STF. Okay, not one for me because I don't own a cat or a dog, but someone's asked, what's the best thing about owning a cat or a dog?
Walking it.
That's changed the tempo, isn't it?
You know what? There's nothing, for me, like Roy, probably just, cats are amazing. I love them. You know what I mean? I'm so deep into them now. Have you seen Cat's Eyes?
Yeah, I'm not anti-cats.
You prefer dogs?
Yeah, I prefer dogs.
I'm not anti-cats.
No.
You got a dog?
I've never had a pet in my
cats.
life.
I'm so cats.
No, I've not got a pet.
You've got one?
I've not got a pet.
I can't see you
you
still,
never-
like
you get a cat?
sitting,
No,
stroking
do you know
the dog
something?
at
Selfish,
night.
Sav,
The reason I don't have a pet is because I wouldn't be able to give it the time that
Selfish,
it
yeah.
would need. And
Because you're
you're
selfish.
selfish.
Because you're selfish. What are you going to try and talk around that? It's just selfishness. Find time for a cat. I didn't have time for a cat, but now
You can't
I've
find
found
time for the kids.
a cat. Find time. It's not like you're going to have the cat and the cat's going to be like, oh, where's Gary? Oh, God, Gary's gone out again. Fucking get a cat in the house.
right, I might get a dog then. Get a dog for the start.
You'll have to do a lot more work with a dog.
It wouldn't be a cat; it'd be a dog.
Yeah, dogs.
Well, you've got to be committed then,
Yeah.
girl.
Exercise.
Got to be
Walk.
committed.
Feed them.
No, my wife's mum's got a cat. She swears, but she literally will live by the cat's clock and won't come out at certain times. Make sure that.
Routine.
You know what was happening with the cats the other day because they were
How many cats have you got?
inside 2, Nova and Sydney. We had 2, so they were inside cats, and then now we're letting them out. But like, we started letting them out, and then the other night I was outside, underpants and vest, couldn't find them, wouldn't come in. 2 o'clock in the morning, but I found them.
Why is it
They're
always
back in.
2 in the morning?
Is that like...
I don't know what
What time do you get in? 2 in the morning.
Said the cats are still not coming, so I had to go back out to go back and find them, and I was really worried. It was like one of my kids hadn't come home for the disco or
But you know,
something.
cats have a few homes, don't they? So they would,
What do you mean they got a few?
you wouldn't just
Yeah.
be your home. They go to other houses.
No. Our cats are
cheat on
they're
you.
they're too young to
So
go.
where
and do
were they?
that.
Where were they?
I don't know.
Right.
Roy, that's
You've
why
got
I'm
to put
trying
them in.
find
You've got to put them in when you go on holiday, haven't you? You've got to put them animals.
Do you not
somewhere,
put a tag on it, like a little thing on its collar that
Yeah, we've
means
got
that you
yeah,
can sort of like a chip
little
thing?
yeah. And then we're going to do the obviously the electronic cat flap where they come in, and then we'll get people to maybe come in and feed them. But I worry about them all the time.
Roy, you've probably got the most famous relationship around this table with a pet because obviously you walk your dogs quite a lot.
Right.
What? was it?
He's always.
It wasn't an attack.
He's always in the woods, though, isn't he?
Yeah, I've
You
got
are
dogs.
always
You've got dogs,
outside.
but do you know something? I feel like you literally live your life by your dogs. If you don't walk your dogs in
I
the
wouldn't
day,
go that far, but yeah, you'd have a routine and you have to look after them and walk them. And I would have been out this morning before I came here. Yeah, you have a routine with your
It's a
dogs.
beautiful thing when
I've
you
always
see-
had dogs. Yeah, gone back in Ireland when I was growing up in Ireland. Yeah, we've always had dogs in the house. We
It
love
gets
the
you
pets. Good
outside,
security,
though, doesn't it?
gets you extra good for
Yeah.
your bit of exercise. Yeah, love them to bits.
It's nice the way
I've
Roy
got
speaks
two
to
dogs,
his
but
dogs. It
mine,
makes it smooth.
mine are getting a bit old now and a bit frail, and that's always the worry then when something happens to them. But yeah, love
I've
my
got a
two.
bulldog. She walks about 10 steps and wants to come back, so don't get out for long. They're quite lazy dogs.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't be a lover of that type of dog, if you know what I mean.
Oh, thanks.
No, I wouldn't be. I like dogs that you need to exercise.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
personal. Everyone likes their own dogs.
It's like calling my child.
Yes.
But I have a lab. German Shepherds.
Are they the best?
Your dogs are cute, actually,
they're
to
smart.
be
you've
fair.
got Lee 2 dogs.
And he's got Champions League dog.
Come on.
And on that note, another episode of Stick to Football is finished. An eclectic episode of Stick to Football where we've done some important work at the start.
Jamie,
The CPR.
Yeah, what was
we
it?
have to do it again.
We did the work with Tom Lockyer.
Tom Lockyer, you missed it.
Oh, gee.
Exactly.
Tom.
Do you know what I mean?
Episode-
Now that-
Sorry, Tom, I've done more work than you with this. Tom,
Tommy, you come to finish because
Tom, you come quick.
Tom, seriously, he has.
I changed government legislation over this.
Spell it.
We got them in all the schools up and down the country.
But you missed it. We'd have
Well
to leave
done,
that bit out.
Hero.
We'll leave that.
We'll leave that bit out.
Thank you. Do you know something? Your professionalism or lack of it has disrupted that show.
Can you
I don't
imagine
know.
that clip when I come in and the bit of banter that'll go viral?
It's like episode 64, Man United still have no structure.
Jesus.
That's this programme.
Roy went. He goes deep
They're going to find structure in a way.
with the Palace. Look how vexed he got with the Palace.
Oh, God.